Hello, I'm Chris Chapman. I'm the manager of the New Zealand Export Credit Office. We're a government agency that sells financial guarantees and trade credit insurance on behalf of the government, and we complement the private sector. We do our products do a range of things, but they help three key things for exporters. One is mitigate repayment risk, where you're sending goods or delivering services and then waiting to be paid over a period of time. A second thing is we work with your bank to help you access additional trade finance or credit facilities. And then thirdly, we can work with you to see how our products can be used in a way that may give you a competitive advantage to secure export sales. We've helped several companies up in the Middle East where that has its unique challenges. The first one sometimes is being paid. If you're dealing with a private buyer, it often, particularly if it's your first time to the region, it's often worthwhile considering trade credit insurance. So this is where you're selling an open account and you may have waiting 30, 60 or 90 days to be paid. Trade credit insurance is provided by the private insurers in the first instance, and one of the key benefits is they'll go and do some due diligence on your buyer. And so if they come back and say, we've done due diligence and we're uncomfortable with their credit worthiness, then that should be a red flag. Sometimes though, if you're a small exporter, private insurers, even if your buyer is credit worthy, they may not choose to insure you, and so then you can come to the Export Credit Office. We undertake an assessment, and again, if we're satisfied by the credit worthiness of your buyer, we can underwrite that. Sometimes another way of mitigating payment risk is via a bank, getting a letter of credit, and that's something that your bank can do. But again, if there's a payment term of 90 days, you might be looking for your bank to advance that money. It's because you have suppliers to pay here in New Zealand, and it's called having your bank confirm a letter of credit. But sometimes in the markets in the Middle East, your bank may not have the appetite. And so again, your bank can come to us, and if we're happy with that, we can underwrite that letter of credit of that foreign bank. And we've done that, for example, for banks in Egypt and previously in Syria, although our appetite for there is not as strong at the moment. One of the key risks, though, is often dealing with public agencies in the Middle East, where I know a lot of exporters do business with. There it's not necessarily a matter of not being paid, it's a matter of when they get paid. And so it can cause a lot of issues with working capital and cash flows. Some exporters try and overcome that by asking for a larger deposit up front. And what you most likely may find is that your buyer will say, well, I'll pay, but if you're wanting a 25% advance payment, we want that matched by a bank guarantee for the same value. And these bank guarantees are called advance payment bonds. And because they're on demand, you'll find that your New Zealand bank will then want to be able to secure that by some cash collateral. And again, often if you're a services provider in the Middle East or you're a growing exporter, you may not have those credit facilities available to secure these bonds. So if that's the scenario that you face, then the Export Credit Office, we have a bond guarantee. And if we're comfortable that you have the ability and the financial capability to perform a contract, then we can give our guarantee to a New Zealand bank. And this has proven to be one of our more popular products that we've helped companies in the Middle East. An example has been Cognition Education, and we've been underwriting their multi-year projects for the last 4 years. But as I mentioned also, one of the key things is often payment delays. So it's not uncommon to be waiting for 90 to 120 days to be paid, and so that does put strain on cash flow. And so we can also provide a loan guarantee to your bank. So the Export Credit Office is not providing the funds, but we can underwrite your bank to extend additional funding. And so an example is recently we've just supported a company in the Middle East who's got a contract in Saudi Arabia. Their public buyer refused to pay a deposit, and the company had these large upfront costs. And so we, along with the bank, underwrote additional working capital to help them fund that particular contract. And we got comfort also because the shareholders were prepared to put in some money as well. So it's in partnership with yourselves and with the bank. Typically, we brought in once you have a particular transaction that you need support on. However, ultimately, we'd like to engage with you earlier on, so when you're at the bid stage or negotiating, rather than, oh no, I need trade credit insurance or a bond guarantee tomorrow. Because we have our own underwriters, we do our own assessment, and particularly if we're not familiar with you as a company or your buyer, it does take time to do that assessment. We work very closely with New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, including their offices up in Dubai, along with the MFAT offices in the region. If you wish to contact us, you can contact them via those agencies or else directly. Our website is www.nzeco.govt.nz, and as often it's best to come to us when you've got an indicative idea of what a deal may be, and we can possibly explain in more detail how we might be able to assist. The Export Credit Office has been around for 10 years. However, the range of products that we have now have really only been implemented in the last 4 years. And so we're growing in profile and in terms of experiences, but as I mentioned, the Middle East is a market that we're increasingly supporting exporters.